안녕하세요 여러분, 저는 Maria입니다. How have you guys been? I've had another extended break from YouTube, which was totally unintentional, and it's the same old story. I got busy with school and work, and then the last few weekends I've been at my parents' house, so I've been traveling a lot. So it's just been really busy, but today I have time and I'm just really excited to be in front of the camera again to talk about K-dramas with you guys. I want to know what you guys have been watching, what you're really liking, what you're disliking, what's going on in K-drama land, and yeah, let's just get into it. I haven't scripted this. I know the shows I want to discuss because there's about 5 that I've been watching consistently and that's about it. Yeah, let's just get to it, and we're gonna start with Why Her. We're starting with Why Her because about 3 weeks ago I put a poll on the community tab asking which video you guys wanted to see first, and Why Her definitely beat out the other options. The other options were Yumis Cells, the 2nd season, which I had expected to win. I was really surprised when it didn't. And then also another currently airing K-drama, Alchemy of Souls. Again, I thought that one would be more popular than it was, but maybe my audience that's on YouTube, you know, our community, just leans a little bit more heavily to shows like Why Her. I could see people who just finished watching My Liberation Notes being interested in something like Why Her. So Why Her is like a political thriller, kind of whodunit mystery with some romance sprinkled in there. So our female lead is a top lawyer in South Korea. She works at one of the best law firms in the country, and her very icy persona paired with her intelligence and her drive is like a winning combination. She has a really high success rate at trials and also is one of the lawyers that brings in the most money at the firm. And our story really kicks off when she's on the cusp of being promoted to CEO, I believe it was. But she is dragged into a murder investigation which really like completely destroys her public image. And then she gets demoted, and as a way to kind of repair that image, the legal firm sends her to a university where she acts as like a guest professor or something for the semester. It is there at this university that she meets our male lead, who is a student, and although he's had a very difficult past, I would say, he still has a very warm heart and he's in love with her. From the moment we meet him, he's already in love with her, so there's a lot of mystery surrounding his past and also the connection that they have together, because they do know each other from the past, but she does not recognize him, and he's already in love with her, head over heels in love with her. So what do I love about this series? I thought the first 4 episodes was some of the best television I had seen in a really, really long time. Completely captured me. The story, the pacing, the writing, the character development in 4 episodes alone just completely blew me away. I truly think the first 4 episodes is like gold standard, 5 stars, highly recommend it to everybody. I think everybody needs to give these first 4 episodes a watch. If you don't like the first 4 episodes, we have very different tastes and you might as well just leave. Something I noticed right off the bat was the soundtrack was being very smart. Whenever our female lead is being particularly cunning or, you know, making her political moves, whatever conversation she's in, she's like being the more dominant one. They play this, like, I think of it as like a siren sound, like not like an ambulance, but like a mermaid siren sound, and it's so eerie and it makes her seem so powerful. And so she's got a very specific sound, but then also the main villain, who is the owner of the law firm, he also has a very specific sound. So it feels like they're 2 forces of nature who are conflicting, and it's just like, ooh, the tension is so good. Hi guys, Editing Marie. I also wanted to pop in and just highlight how great an actor the villain is. If you've watched my, I think it was
top 5 most memorable K-drama villains. He is in that list from a previous show. I believe it was Come and Hug Me. And every time I see this dude on screen, he's just so terrifying. He's not someone I would want to walk by on the street. I think I would take one look at him and go the other way. But he just never disappoints. He's as fantastic here as he has been in the past, and just a brilliant actor. That's it. That's all I want to say.
The other thing I really, really like about this drama is that you believe her. This is a character who can stand alongside the empowered women from Search WWW. I don't know when this became like a benchmark for me, where I look at career women and think, okay, are you as good as the women from Search WWW? Some are not. In this case, she's as good or better. She's a very believable character. I really enjoyed her backstory. Oh my god, like just this show. If you guys are watching Why Her, please let me know down below. If you want to talk spoilers, put a spoiler warning. Let's go. Kind of a downside is I don't think the rest of the series so far has been as good as those first 4 episodes. I'm having a hard time believing the romance. I don't know if their chemistry is quite clicking for me. I really like the idea of it, like the setup for them I think is really good, but just something's not quite working for me. On their own, as they're 2 separate characters, they're both very, very good in their roles. So am I going to keep watching? Yeah, definitely, for sure, I'm going to watch the rest of the series. I need to know what happens. Okay, let's move on to Yumi's Cells, Season 2. I am not going to do a big synopsis for this or anything like that because I already have 2 other videos discussing Yumi Cells. I've had a first impression for the first season and then also another wrap-up similar to this where I do discuss, you know, the show at the end. I think I'm gonna drop Yumi Cells Season 2, to be frank. I've watched the first handful of episodes. I have not kept up with it at all, and that's because I feel like the story that I needed to watch and experience is now concluded. At the end of Yumi Cells Season 1, I did say that I really enjoyed the story, but as like a character arc, it was incomplete, so I needed to see where Season 2 went. I feel like, okay, spoiler time. I feel like now in Season 2, now that we've gotten her boyfriend from the first season, his story, like he's come back and, you know, we've seen what he's been through and them getting closure together. Once I saw that episode, I felt concluded. You know, like I felt like I had the story I wanted from Yumi's Cells. And I frankly am just not that interested in her new romantic relationship and the growth that she needs to go through in this new romance. Because I've done a little bit more research on the series, specifically the webtoon, since watching Season 1, and I know that she's supposed to have like 4 or 5 different lovers throughout the course of her life or something like that. And I just don't know if I'm interested in watching that kind of arc. Yumi as a character is, to me, very immature. And I see what the show is going for, that they're trying to show her growth and her becoming like a fully formed adult through her romantic relationships. But I just don't think I'm interested in that. I'm very happy with the story we got from Season 1 to kind of like first quarter of Season 2, but I'm probably gonna drop it from here. Unless I see some like fan-made edits of Season 2 that like blow my mind and I have to return, I'm probably done. Although I will say that returning to the world of Yumi's Cells was really charming. Well, that was weird. My camera like cut off mid-recording being like, oh, your card can't be accessed. What was I even saying? I'm done with Yumi's Cells, but being there again for that brief amount of time felt really nice, very comforting. On to the next K-drama, which will be Alchemy of Souls. Alchemy of Souls, a fantasy where there are mages who can channel their energy through swords. which I do really like this concept, by the way. And one of the highest levels of, magical ability is the ability to transfer your soul into another human being. So like switch souls, basically.
Hello. We both knew I wasn't done popping in here. And this time I want to pop in and kind of condense the synopsis that I gave for Alchemy of Souls. I went way too far into it and it became really convoluted and a mess, essentially. So I'm going to pick up where I just left off, where in this fantasy, there are mages, and the highest, most powerful mages can transfer their souls into another body, like soul swap. Surprisingly, a tongue twister. um, our story really takes place when a young man whose magical ability has been stunted, has been blocked by his own father, meets a woman who has the soul of a very powerful mage, an assassin, in fact. So it's the story of a man with a lot of potential finding a very unlikely master, and this master who is going to train him has their own very specific self-centered goals. That's where I'm going to leave the synopsis.
Basically, every single episode, from the very first episode, I think to myself, is this show worth my time? Should I continue watching this? Because I don't feel like the leads have any chemistry. I don't think the humor is landing whatsoever. I think the show would have been much more successful if it went the serious route. It's just not working for me personally. I think I would have really enjoyed this story if it was presented with the same level of seriousness as, say, Arthdal Chronicles. If it was going the Arthdal Chronicles route, I think this could have been something really special. The way it is right now, it just seems really mediocre. It seems like a B-level C-drama. Yeah, a B-level C-drama. That's how it feels to me. Let's move on to Dear M. This is a K-drama that follows university-aged students. We've got two main groups. The male leads of the show are roommates, so they're in one room. And then our female leads of the show are also roommates and they're in another room. So story about these 6 people in particular who are navigating romantic relationships. It reminds me a lot of... what was that other K-drama that was like... this first love or something like that? It feels like a better version of that show. So a con, I would say, I know I'm not going like pros and cons with this video, but I would say a con for this series is that all of the stories are ones you've heard before. You've got the best friends who have been best friends for 12 years. One of them is secretly in love with the other. So that's one story. Another story is that like a pre-established couple is going through a rocky period because the girl is feeling threatened and jealous because of a new girl in the picture. So that's another story that we've heard before. And then you've got the opposites attract story, which I actually think I'm really enjoying. I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would, just because both characters are so candid with each other, and once they know their feelings, they just tell each other, and I really like that. So I'm not being surprised by any of the storylines. Very familiar to me. What is surprising me is just how much I am getting emotionally impacted by the acting and the characters. Emotional beats are hitting the way they should.
Okay, last time I'm popping in here, and that's mostly just because this is the last K-drama we're going to talk about. I wanted to give a bit more of my thoughts on Dear M because I actually finished watching it, the entire series, since I filmed this video. I didn't realize it was only going to be about 12 episodes long, which in hindsight is the perfect length for this story, but I was surprised when it suddenly ended on me. I got that feeling from the last, like the 12th episode that I'm like, oh, this is ending. This is this is conclusion type of stuff. This music, this is ending K-drama music. So overall, I am going to give Dear M a 4 out of 5 stars. There are definitely some issues with the series, like the antagonists, I feel like, were unjustly given happy endings. Spoiler warning right now for the rest of the discussion for Dear M. The female character who, like, sabotages the one girl's basically entire life, I did not need to see her dropping and, like, letting go of the boy. Like that scene where she drops the card or whatever, I couldn't even remember what that was in reference to. Like, when I was watching the series, I could not for the life of me remember a scene where he gave her something like that. So it didn't even mean anything to me. Like, even if it did exist within the show, like, by that point in the series, it was so insignificant that, like, an audience member doesn't even remember it. And the fact that, like, she did such horrible things and had no repercussions, and then in the end gets, like, a happy, or at least positive, optimistic ending, I was like, didn't need it. No thanks. And then also the first love of our true female lead of the series, and how he, like, stands up to his father and, like, marches out and stuff. Like, that's all good and fine, but I also don't think we ever really saw him atone for anything. Like, he seems like a genuinely nice guy that I think his character might have actually apologized to our female lead for leading her on, or I don't know. Like, I just think he did not great things, and then they were never really addressed.
I think if you're in the mood for, like, a high school or, you know, university first love kind of story, this is definitely one you should check out. So you guys, that's everything from me. I've rambled on a lot. I hope that I can edit this and present it into a video that's coherent and that you guys take something away from. Let me know if you guys are watching any of the shows that I've discussed so far, your thoughts on them, and what do you think of my haircut? I really wanted a change. I thought it was time for one. I had been growing out my hair for so long for my wedding. I really, in my head, envisioned long hair for my wedding, and then after that I was not super happy with the majority of my wedding portraits, so I wanted to get more taken, and then just recently I was able to do that. They're on my Instagram. Garner and I, we reached out to a friend from high school who's a photographer now, and we asked her, hey, are you interested in, like, getting into the lake with us? And she was all for it, so, you know, go check those out if you're interested. I'm so happy with them. But then once, you know, those photos were taken, I was like, now's the time. I'm not waiting for anything else in my life that needs long hair. Chop it off. Have a good day. Have a good night. Bye.